Autonomous cars are the way the world is going to commute in the future. You might like the adrenaline rush when you press your foot against the gas pedal, so don't like this idea of not being able to get that high. Or you might not trust the technology, and that's perfectly fine, as the technology is probably still not there, and there are many unanswered questions right now. But it's one of those ideas whose time has come. It's good to stop resisting the technology and embrace the idea and start looking into making it safer and a reality sooner. This episode, we won't look into the technological aspects, but let's look at the world of autonomous cars from the lens of moral philosophy. Yes, you heard me right. Imagine a situation where the autonomous car is speeding and a bunch of 5 college teens appear on the crosswalk out of nowhere while they are frolicking and enjoying themselves. But now the car can't brake given the short stopping distance. Nothing unimaginable here, by the way. Humans are irrational and we do act spontaneously or rather stupidly at times. And in this situation, the only option for the car is to drive onto the sidewalk to save the 5 teens. But the catch here is that there is one pedestrian on it. What would the car do? Or rather, should the car's AI be trained to do in such a situation? Kill 5 or rather drive on the sidewalk to kill 1 and save more lives? Should it be trained to do the math of human lives while in such a situation? This brings us to the very famous trolley problem from the world of moral philosophy, where the person in charge of a train had to choose between killing 5 or 1. This was originally proposed by Philippa Foot in 1967, but over the years, philosophers have come up with various different versions of this problem. I won't go into the details of the original problem, but it's similar to the dilemma I mentioned, where the train driver has to choose between killing 5 or 1. Anything he or she chooses, there is imminent death. All these years, this was a mere thought experiment taught in the classroom, but now, with autonomous cars becoming a reality, this is not just a thought experiment anymore. So let's assume you would want the car's AI to choose to save 5 lives over 1. So we teach the AI to do the math to reduce overall possible loss of human lives and make a decision if ever it encounters such dilemma. This is what majority of people who were posed with the trolley problem ended up choosing in various surveys. But let's bring a variation into this. What if the person on the sidewalk who is now about to die as a result of this AI is a friend or someone you know from your neighborhood? Will you want to train the AI differently now? I mean, the mathematics of people dying still remains the same, isn't it? 5 versus 1. But if I had to read your mind, I'll guess that this time you would want your car to drive over the 5 stranger teens instead of your friend. This is also what majority of people who were studied across the years on this trolley dilemma ended up choosing. This brings us to the very fundamental question about our morality. Are we moral to kill 1 person instead of letting 5 die in the greater good of humanity by following the idea of utilitarianism? Or are we selfish to choose a friend over the lives of 5 strangers? Or even further, are we hypocrites to decide our morality depending upon the situation? If we as humans can't decide, imagine the dilemma while training an AI for such a situation. Studying this trolley problem and the underlying moral philosophy, the idea of utilitarianism, is all the more important as we are training future AI to drive us around. It's not just important to understand but accept the idea of collateral damages while we take a leap towards the future, and not blame the technology, but rather find the path of minimal damage, however we choose to define it, by the way. There is no conclusion here, nor a path ahead, but this is an episode with an idea to ponder upon as we move in the future with autonomous vehicles. Until it happens, be curious, stay tuned.